that was to come.
Well, that was you're right. That's when dudes first really started putting on the lipstick and eyeliner.
Just on fire on me. And on fire in this reason. Don't let go. Yeah. Yeah.
Polynesian broadcast is on the air. Welcome. I'm your host, Paul Sinclair. I'm going to start you off with a little bit of Nights by Comfy Bella. We're live, groundzeroplus.com. Got a bunch of random stuff to talk about. But for now, let's get situated. Just on fire on me. And on fire in this breeze.
Don't let go.
The mycelium of underground sounds. This is Faded by Mansour Brown. Before that, we heard Maybe Someday by Bird. And you are listening to the Polynation broadcast, and we're live on the air every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. Starting the show off chill with some vibey tunes. So let me give you a rundown of what I'm going to hopefully get to today. I often refer to the show as the mycelium of underground sounds. Well, it's not just because I like the way that sounds, but it's because I do have a fascination, some might say unhealthy, with mushrooms. Their potential, both medicinal and, well, as we'll find out later, in other areas. And not just for humans. For bees. Bees need a lot of help. They actually have been, they've been struggling for like a good decade now, I'm pretty sure. So we'll get into this new sort of area of science using polypore mycelium to help out the bees. It's like a win-win. Also going to take a look at what the hell is China doing to their bees? You're not going to believe this. And I just found out about this today as I was getting ready for the show. This little tidbit just landed in my lap. I'm like, what are they doing? I'll explain that later. Also, it's been a good week for tariffs again. So I might say something about the tariffs. I think I have a strategy how to negotiate with Trump regarding the tariffs. I can guarantee you it's not going to happen because the Canadian government won't do it, but I think it would be a good tactic, and I'll share that later too. And also I want to talk about the last thing, I guess, would be solar wind and its apparent correlation with earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. So, some of you might remember last week, around the 5th of July, there was supposed to be a huge earthquake off the coast of Japan, causing, catastrophic tsunamis that makes Fukushima look like a puddle compared. But it didn't happen. And, well, maybe there's a reason why. We'll get into that, too. Lots of random stuff today. Also, we're going to dip our toes into sacred geometry because I think bees understand that language. I'll explain that later, too. You're listening to the Polynation broadcast. I'm your host, Polly. Welcome to the greenhouse. If you're wondering what the greenhouse is, well, come on over, groundzeroplus.com. If you like the show, or any of the other shows, there's a plethora of great shows on groundzeroplus.com. You can become a member, and then you'll get into the members' content, which includes a chat room that, for the Polynation broadcast, I have endearingly named the Greenhouse. Also, there's kind of an inside thing we have in the Greenhouse. If you're a fan of the show, but you're also a fan of other shows, change your chat bubble to any shade of green. And that'll signify that you're a polynationalist. Or as Chris told me a couple of days ago, that we should call fans of the Polynation broadcast polywogs. That's kind of funny. You know what? We can have dual names, dual citizenship in Polynation. Why not? What would you rather be, a polynationalist or a polywog? Here's Amber Fade by Tom Vernon in the Polynation broadcast, groundzeroplus.com. That was Sleepy Meadows of Buxton by Phenomenon. And before that, we heard Falling Upward by Eric Jackson. So we're talking about bees, I guess, first. Let's do that. Bees and mycelium. Now, I have two go-to people when I want to learn or confirm anything to do with mushrooms. The first one is Terence McKenna, for clearly obvious reasons, not related to bees. More of a psychonaut angle. And for the science and healing properties of other mushrooms, you know, ones that don't ruin your plans for 8 hours, I go to a mycologist by the name of Paul Stamets. I've learned so much from Paul Stamets. He's definitely the godfather of mycology, in my opinion. He's brought it out to the mainstream. He has a bunch of patents. He's got his own research company. I mean, the dude really knows what he's talking about, and he is obsessed with the relationships of all living things, including cats. So we'll start this off by playing a clip about how Paul Stamets has a solution. Well, maybe not like a 100% solution, but it's definitely going to help a lot. So I got a clip lined up here. I'll play that, and then we'll talk about it.
Deforestation is causing zoonotic diseases to spread. When there is a loss of foraging bees, the population declines, mites and other diseases then begin to spiral out of control, and suddenly the whole colony collapses. I want to bring to you an epiphany that I've had that I think is just truly revolutionary. That the same mushrooms that can limit bird flu, H5N1, herpes, also positively affect bees and being able for them to control the viral burden and reduce them. So we started doing experiments with bees. They're given extracts of the mycelium, the myco-honey. As the myco-honey increases, there's a radical decline in the viral pathogen payload. They can upregulate their immune system, give them a host defense antiviral shield, allow them to detoxify toxins, and allow them to be better pollinators. Dr. Steve Shepard, who I'm working with, as an entomologist of 39 years of experience studying bees, I'm unaware of any reports that extend the life of worker bees more than this. We are suffering a collapse of our ecosystems, but we can do something about this. I want to call out to all of you as citizen scientists to join in a mycological revolution, to be able to go out and help wild bees as well as the honeybee, and to be able to engage in permaculture practices to return carbon back into the soil, to build the mycelial networks, because we are far more interconnected with mycelium in nature than we even have a glimpse of being possible.
We just have a glimpse here, folks. A glimpse. Because not very many people are doing this kind of work. So it turns out that bees in nature will automatically go to rotting logs in the forest because they're after a certain kind of mycelium. It turns out that polypore is better than the guild mushrooms, let's say. So there's many kinds of polypore mushrooms, but what you will find common in most of them is they like to grow on dead or decaying wood or around it. And the bees seem to prefer this mycelium over others, increasing their lifespan and boosting their immune system what fascinates me is how do they know to do that? And I wonder if they do, you've heard of the bee dance, right? Where a bee will come into the hive and do this little dance, and in that dance are coordinates to, maybe a sleepy meadow in Buxton, or, an orchard, somewhere where there's lots of pollen and food and nectar. I wonder if they do bee dances for like, hey, if anybody's got a cold or you got mite problems, there's a log over here full of healing mycelium from polypores. To me, that's fascinating. Again, is there anything the forest can't do? Apparently, we lost 67% of the bee population last year. That's astounding. Could you imagine if a farmer lost 67% of their cattle? I'm pretty sure that would be like a major news story. Or imagine if we lost 67% of the population, which actually could, that could happen as a chain reaction from losing all the bees. And apparently it's very easy to administer said polypore mycelium if you have bees. I know a few people that dabble in bees, and you can grow your own liquid culture. Just literally go out into the woods, find a polypore, grab it, take a sample. You can make liquid culture. I'm not going to go into that. It's fairly easy. But then you add this liquid culture, which has the mycelium in it, suspended in whatever liquid they use. And you can feed your bees with it, because bees drink stuff, right? So you put it in what they drink, and it benefits them. And I think that's kind of what Paul Stamets wants, anywhere from novice to expert beekeepers to try playing around with. So far, I've seen 2 different kinds of polypores that people recommend. One of them is reishi, though, so that could be a little bit difficult to get your hands on. But there are plenty of other ones. Turkey tail is a polypore that works. And there's another one that starts with A, but I'm horrible at remembering Latin names, so I don't remember the name of that one. So yeah, feed your bees. Give them, it's like the echinacea of the bee world. Give them some mycelium, help them live longer, then they can do more pollinating. And also help keep them, there's this disease called wing deforming disease, I think it's called. And it's a huge problem in bee colonies because their immune systems are so suppressed, I guess. I don't know why they're suppressed now. I mean, they did this in the wild. I mean, maybe there's not enough rotting logs or something. I'm not really sure how that's happening. But hey, we can fix it. We can fix it just by feeding them these mycelium. It seems like a very, simple thing. It doesn't seem to. We don't need any technology to do it. Unlike what China's doing. What China's doing to their bees is it blew my mind. I'm not sure it's a good idea, but we'll get into that when I come back. For now, here's Toby Jug by Doc Danica and Abigail Wiles. You're listening to the Polynation broadcast. Hope everybody's buzzing. GroundZeroPlus.com.
my blood is this I learn from. So it comes and it goes. Can't explain it, so integral. Fill up, I'll take it on. So my blood is this I learn from. Sign up and I hear things. That's what it's about, that's what it's all about. You say I had it in the palm of my hand, but I've work to do, and for that I plan. I've given sleepless nights to my thoughts. Need to do this, believe I do understand. I'm higher. Cause I'll be lying if I said I wasn't scared. Still I find it, don't you know I'm not dead. It'll take some for that I'm dead. It's in my blood, I'm made to be there. Cause I'll be lying if I said I wasn't scared. Still I find it, don't you know I'm not there.
Polynesian broadcast. That is Love Movement, but it's been remixed by one of my favorite artists, Ulrich Schnauz. He has a very unique sound. You can't mistake Ulrich Schnauz. I don't know what he does. Something to do with his keyboards or his guitars, whatever that is. Really cool musician. Check him out. Ulrich Schnauz. If you never heard of him, now you have. So, we're getting close to the top of the hour. I figure I'd sneak this in before we switch gears a little bit. China hacked the bees. They literally hacked living bees, and they can control them with a 90% success rate. They can make them fly whatever direction they want. I don't know what else they can do other than make them fly any direction they want, but you know, maybe they're kind of using bees as drones in a way. How do they do that? Well, there's a little backpack they put on it, and 3 little needles go right inside the bee's brain. Oh yeah, I'm sure they probably love that. That's got to feel weird, like the Matrix times 3. And they send little electrical signals to the bee's brain, which makes the bee fly left or right or up, down, wherever. And it was, I don't know, to me that just, I don't know if that's a good idea. We're supposed to be helping the bees. Leave it to China. Well, we'll find another way to fix the bee problem. That's not fixing the bee problem. And you would think having a thing strapped to your back would cause, flight to be a little bit more difficult. But it turns out bees can actually carry 80% of their body weight, no problem. I mean, that in itself is almost miraculous. I don't think there's a plane that can carry that much. 80% of its body weight. I don't think there's another animal that can do that. So bees they use something. Probably something to do with sacred geometry or sacred frequencies. Bees are notorious for buzzing, right? They make that buzzing sound. Many people suspect that buzzing sound comes from the wings. But there are people asking, what if it didn't? What if they vibrate their abdomen in concert with their wings, and that is what allows them to do these things like fly backwards and hover and all kinds of things it shouldn't be able to do because its wings aren't big enough. Fascinating creatures. Anybody who keeps bees out there, good on you. And the reward? Well, honey. And is honey good for you? Probably one of the best immunal boosters you can have. If you suffer from allergies, you can eat the honey that the bees make from the plants that you're allergic to. A lot of people are allergic to different pollens. Apparently, if you eat the honey, your body will build up an immunity to your allergies and they will disappear. Now, I haven't tried this because I don't have any allergies that I know of, but it makes sense. So, the bees are passing on their immunal magic through their honey. It's also a preservative. I mean, we really got to give bees a hand, I think. And maybe, I don't know, China, maybe just make like a robotic bee. Don't take live bees and stick needles in their brains, please. I mean, come on. What are you thinking? Is it a level of respect thing? I don't know. I thought bees were like sacred in most cultures, if not all. Because without them, we'd be be up shit creek, to be honest. Without them, the food chain would just collapse. Anyways, help your bees. If you see a bee, don't kill it. If you see a wasp, especially yellow jackets or those hornet wasps, yeah, you can kill those. I don't care about those. They're useless. I can't find a use for those. I'm kind of kidding, but I hate them. They also don't like bees. So the battle is on to save the bees. Let's do our best. That's all we can do. Help the people that can if you can't do it directly. That's what I say. Save the bees. We're going to do it. Maybe AI will come up with a solution for saving the bees. I wonder if people would take that seriously. Who knows? This is the Polynation Broadcast. We're live every weekend from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time over here on groundzeroplus.com. I am your host, Polly. Some people call me Woggles. Pollywog. Doesn't matter what you call me, just don't call me late for dinner. And I love the bees. And we'll be back, talk about something else that mycelium can do that perhaps you didn't know about. Another use, again, that comes from the forest. Because the forest can do anything. This is Abstraction by Amanda Whitting. Be right back.
she wanted to go. She shook her head, she said she didn't know. I said, now baby, won't you take my hand? I'll be your man, and if you wanted to stay. She said, baby, where we going to? I said, I want to bring it on to just a me and to you. She said, honey, will you be with me forever? I said, yeah, but I thought I never. Where she wanted to go. She shook her head, she said she didn't know. I said, baby, won't you take my hand? I'll be your man, and if you won't understand. Said, baby, where we going to? I said, I want to be your number, just a me and you.
o solo lo inservible se enreda. Dad lo mejor para vuestro amigo. Si él tiene que conocer la baja mar de vuestra marea, permitidle conocer vuestras inundaciones. Pues, ¿qué es un amigo al que se busca solo para matar el tiempo? Búscalo para vivir con él el momento, pues él está para complacer vuestras necesidades, no para llenar vuestro vacío. Y permitid dulzura de la amistad en que existe la risa y la alegría sea compartida. El rostro del detalle encuentra el corazón su amanecer y se refresca.
It's the Polynation broadcast. We're live on groundzeroplus.com. I'm going to hover over this topic of mycelium for a bit, if you'll pardon the pun. That was intentional. Here's another clip by Paul Stamets. Apparently, Stella McCartney is experimenting with mycelium. Check this out.
Hi folks, my name is Paul Stamets, and I want to express my strong support to Stella McCartney and her great team in replacing animal leather with mushroom mycelium. And this is the mushroom that is primarily being used. It's the reishi mushroom, Ling Chi, the mushroom of immortality. And this is one of the best species for replacing animal leather. So give it up for Stella. Thank you all. This is a way of the future to reduce the use of animals and promote mushrooms for the benefit of people and planet. Thank you all, and especially thank you, Stella.
I have questions. How durable is it? Can it get wet? How do I wash it? Is it easily ruined? You know, like, does it stain? In that video, actually, Paul Stamets himself is wearing a hat that is made from, I believe it's called the Amadou mycelium. It makes this kind of like felt-like fabric. I mean, did you guys know you could make fabric out of mushrooms? Leave it to a vegetarian to replace leather too, eh? I mean, if you're gonna take an animal for its meat, you best be using that leather too. So, like, don't let it go to waste. But, I mean, there are farms that I guess maybe, I find this hard to believe, but maybe there's farms out there that only make animals for leather. Why wouldn't you use the meat too? Anyways. Cool that, I mean, you could make more of this stuff because this mycelium has a very rapid growth cycle. I mean, if you think weeds are out of control, mycelium puts weeds to shame. We can make all kinds of stuff with mycelium. There's even mycelium being used in forms of concrete that appear to be fireproof. So that's neat. My question still is, though, like, how long does it last? You'd think it would deteriorate faster than leather, right? So I gotta look into that. How durable is it? Like, you gotta buy a jacket every 2 years or what? Who knows? Maybe I'll find out. Maybe I won't. But I'll tell you this. If I ever see a jacket that's made of mushroom leather, I will definitely inquire how much. I suppose if they really want to market this, they'll have to make it cheaper than real leather. Right? And, you know, Stella McCartney, she just has to put her name on anything and she could charge whatever the hell she wants. So I'm assuming it's really expensive. At least for now. NASA did some experiments using mycelium in a spacesuit to help mitigate radiation, cosmic radiation. And apparently it works. So we might have mycelium spacesuits pretty soon. It just blows my mind. The forest can do anything. Here's another cool piece of trivia, I guess. The largest living organism on the planet, I believe it's in Oregon, is something crazy like 22 miles long or wide or something. It's a mycelial network. The largest known living thing on planet Earth is a mycelial network. And yeah, lots of good input from the greenhouse today. We got a lot of regulars hanging out. And yeah, it's not a coincidence that I'm talking about mycelium when Paul Stamets did in fact appear on Joe Rogan this week. So I watched the whole thing. And he's just a fascinating individual, and he's done so much work and so much research, probably more than anybody else on the planet. So shout out to Paul Stamets. Love you, brother. You're doing great work, and keep going. And I like his calls, his call outs to what he calls citizen scientists. Because even though we don't have PhDs, we can still help. And I like that message. Kind of makes you feel a little less useless. So we can do what we can do. I guess that's probably all I'm going to talk about mycelium today. There's plenty more to discover. We've only discovered like 15% of all the mushroom species on the planet. Just wait. And I'm wonder, if I ever had Paul Stamets on, one of the first questions I would ask him is he using AI to help? You would think it would help. At least speed things up. Or maybe shine a light on a different perspective that we didn't consider. He's open-minded. I bet you he does use AI sometimes. So what else happened this week besides Paul Stamets being on Rogan? Probably the highlight of my week, actually, because there's not much good news going around. I'll give you some good news. If you're expecting a 1994 show this weekend, well, you're in luck. Tomorrow, I got some extra quadrilithium crystals. First time I've used those in the Time Machine's flux capacitor, but apparently it's supposed to increase efficiency by like a few years. So that'll be cool to play around with that. Tomorrow we're going back to 1994, one of my favorite years of music. A lot of nostalgia, at least for me. I was still in high school. And also a special year for me personally. Because that was the year, at least I think so. I'll triple check that. But that was the year that my first sort of professional record was released, called Somnium. But I'll tell you about that tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow, groundzeroplus.com at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, when we will travel in my time machine back to 1994. And we're going to pull out some obscure tracks. One of my favorite Alice in Chains records came out then. Oh, it's going to be a great show. But I will say this. It will not be posted on my YouTube channel because most of the songs in that playlist are going to get flagged for copyright. And so I'm just not going to bother. It'll be... The Time Machine shows probably are going to be exclusive to live on groundzeroplus.com, so don't miss it. Until they get their own archive, that is. See, they got the music license. I don't. So tune in tomorrow for that. It'll be a blast. If you were around in 1994, you'll probably remember a lot of these songs. And I've got some obscure ones that you probably maybe never heard of, which would be good. Because I like to expose people to new music, no matter when it's from. So let's get back into some more music, because that's what we do here in the greenhouse. All plant-friendly music, all the time. It's good vibes for all tribes. You don't need a passport to get in the greenhouse. You just need to become a member at groundzeroplus.com. And I'll see you in there, and we'll be right back. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about a negotiation tactic for these tariff threats that seem to happen once every month now. I think I can negotiate with Trump. I'm learning how he negotiates, so I think maybe this might be a good idea, but I'll share that in a minute. For now, here's L&G Psychedelic, and the song is called Illumina on the Polynation broadcast, groundzeroplus.com.
Oh, yeah. With the heated broadcast, it's your boy PD Podcast, and that was a blast from the past. That's my time, y'all. If it felt good to you, must be good for you. Yes, sir. Be sure to lock in with my homegirl from Richmond, CA, Jane. Game to be given. She's self-driven with no provisions, and she'll keep you tuned in like you're watching television. So, gentlemen, get your lady's permission. You not me not you. Give her a call at 1-877-877-JANE for some advice that's twice as nice. So true, so cold. You know the slogan. Chill till the next episode. So.
One of the new books that has just come out on the subject, which is a really great treatment. As it says there, the language of the angels. This presents to me one of the most profound ideas at the core of sacred geometry, is that it provides a method of communication that transcends cultural differences, language differences, religious differences, because it doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, what your religious beliefs are, whether you're profoundly spiritual, whether you're atheist, doesn't matter. The relationship of the diagonal to a square to its side is the same, universally. It's always the same, right? So what it is geometry provides not only a methodology, but a language that can transcend the ethnic and cultural and religious differences and so on.
So, the reason I played that clip, that was Randall Carlson talking about sacred geometry being a form of language. Well, I think bees use this language. And, they can read it because if you look at the visual construction of most plants and flowers, you will indeed find sacred geometry all over the place. And look at, one of the other benefits of having bees is you can use the wax. Well, what do they build their wax combs? What's the shape? It's a hexagon, right? That's sacred geometry. That's I believe one of the Platonic solids. So, and bees know how to speak this language. So it's really cool. Sacred geometry does indeed transcend language, and bees are proof of that. So I just thought I'd slide that in there a little bit. Sacred geometry is everywhere. It's one of my favorite things to think about, too. And there's plenty of things you can do with the wax, too. I didn't even get into that, but I mean, other than the honey, the wax is very useful. You can do all kinds of things with it. Probably a lot of things you never even thought of. And bees make it. It's pretty cool. So let's get to this tariff, thing. Remember what happened? Canada said they were going to impose this digital services tax. And then the next day, it was the Monday when we were supposed to enforce this tax retroactive back to 2022. And on the day we were supposed to receive that payment, our government said, you know what, Trump, you're right. We won't charge you. We'll scrap that idea. And all because Trump just turned around in a huff and just decided not to talk any trade talks with Canada until we'd thought about what we'd done. And then Canada caved. So it worked. This is how Trump negotiates. He's almost like a bully in the schoolyard a little bit. So apparently we're being threatened with a 35% tax on every single Canadian import going into the U.S. Now, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's the American people that are going to end up paying that if they just choose to buy something that comes from Canada. But I guess the idea is to encourage more stuff being made in the U.S. or something like that. Clearly this is a bargaining tactic. It's not going to be in effect until August 1st. So there's still over 3 weeks, or maybe it's, about 3 weeks for Canada to come up with a plan or, again, put its tail between its legs like we did last time. I'm tired of this country putting its tail between its legs when it comes to dealing with Donald Trump. Haven't we learned anything? I have. I'm not even a politician. Here's what we do. Okay? Hey, Mr. Trump, you ever heard of BRICS? Maybe Canada's going to go join BRICS. What do you think of that? How does your tariff look now, bud? Could you imagine that? If Canada decided to join BRICS? That would shake things up a lot. I don't think Trump would like that, but this is how you got to do it. You got to play hardball with a guy who's never played baseball. He only knows the hardball that happens in deal making, negotiations, manipulating the game table before the cards are even dealt. Yeah, Trump will just go join BRICS. And then I really started thinking about it, and I thought, well, would that be a bad thing for Canada? I don't know. I mean, BRICS right now, they're 40% of the world's economy. So they do have a say, whether you like the idea or not. They trade in their own currencies, their own national currencies. Apparently that's a threat to the US dollar. Because up until now, there wasn't really an alliance of countries that just refused to use the US dollar. And now there is. And more countries are interested in an alliance with BRICS. Perhaps even becoming a member. I wonder what the cost is to be a member of BRICS. Canada probably couldn't afford it, but we got some bargaining chips to play with. Natural resources. Canada, we have so many natural resources. And one that just came out recently in the news, well, maybe not in the news, but I learned about it in the last couple of weeks. Probably North America's largest deposit of cesium, which is a heavy metal, has been discovered somewhere underneath the ground in Quebec. So now Canada's being a lot more friendly to the separatist movement in Quebec, because we want that. Cesium is the only other place that makes a significant amount or mines it is China. So once we get this mining operation off the ground, assuming it passes all the environmental regulations and all that, blah, 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 blah. Remember Bill C-35 or 5? Remember that bill I was talking about? This would expedite projects like this. Just cut through all the red tape. And you really think they're going to give a shit about the environment if there's that much cesium there? They're going to get it. And we're going to sell it. You going to put a tariff on that too, Trump? You need it. Yeah, we'll just take all that cesium and go over to BRICS. They'll pay for it. No tariffs. What do you think about that, Trump? I don't know. Am I being silly here? Because I feel like this is how we have to deal with them as a country. Canada, that is. Maybe I'll run for office. Why can't we just settle this over a nice game of golf? I mean, Trump's good at golf, but I don't think he cheats. Like the guy from, I think it was the guy from Saudi Arabia or Qatar. He had like 19 holes in one game. Yeah. I don't think Trump does that, but I mean, maybe we could settle this. Maybe a skins game of some kind. Instead of skins, we'll use tariffs. Think of the ratings you'd get on TV for that, too. You just take the money from the ratings and run. No tariff needed. So, yeah. Canada's too polite. We need to start playing hardball. And I say threatening to join BRICS is a good way to do it. Whether it makes sense or not. So that's how I would deal with Trump. Also, I believe, well, no, I won't get into that. The McDonald's thing. Never mind. It's about all the interesting stuff I can come up with for the tariff threat, which probably won't even happen. So in about 40 minutes, stop the show as usual, 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time, to shout out the Greenhouse, which is the chat room at groundzeroplus.com. When you become a member, you get access. The Greenhouse doors are always open for members. And the show is 110% supported by listeners. So that is much appreciated for your support and your listenership. I do have plenty more tunes to get to here, so we'll get to some of those right now. And when we come back, I want to address the earthquake / mega tsunami scare that happened last week. I don't think you should forget about it yet, and I'll explain why later. For now, here's some more tunes on the Polynation broadcast, groundzeroplus.com. Polynation broadcast. This is Devotion by D-Note. I'll likely play this out till 4:20, folks. 20 minutes time for you to get in the greenhouse. We stop the show at groundzeroplus.com and shout out the loyal listeners. Be right back. That song was called Milk by the Mothers on the Polynation broadcast. And it's about that time. Well, it's close enough. It is almost 4:20. It's within a minute. 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time, that is, where we stop the show on the Polynation broadcast to shout out the chat room over here at groundzeroplus.com, otherwise known as the Greenhouse. And in here today, we have, other than myself, Rio's in here, Jimmy Jeans is in here, and I'll see both of yous later for 33 degrees of Chilluminati. That's coming up later this evening for me. I believe it's 11 o'clock my time, Eastern, that is, which would be 8 o'clock Pacific, I think. I hope I got that right. Also, we've got Bekalsk in here, Lisa, Mike Mont, Barbani's in here, Dez is here, Dats in Focus is here, hope you're not working too hard. Mitch Durbin's in here, Mad Catter, and Brother Rich Smith, and Mike Mont's clone's in here as well. Thank you everybody for tuning in and hanging out with me today. It's a swelter out there for me. I don't know if it's you guys under the same heat dome. It's in the high 80s here, which is the high 20s for Canadians. 27, almost 30 degrees at some point today. And with the humidex, it's going to feel closer to 40, I think. So yeah, that brings it up into the 90s. When are we all just going to use the same numbers for temperature? You think that'll ever happen? I mean, doing the math, converting Celsius to Fahrenheit, it's not easy. Excuse me. So yeah, hope everybody's keeping cool. And yeah, I just got one more thing I want to chat about here in regards to earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, things along those lines. They're really hard to predict. But last week when there was that scare on the 5th, a famous comic predicted, or manga artist predicted a massive earthquake. Well, last weekend there wasn't any real solar activity to speak about. And there is compelling evidence and suggestions that say there's a relationship with the solar wind and earthquakes. And so this weekend, we're going to get hit by a pretty big solar wind increase due to the coronal hole that's facing Earth at the moment. It's a pretty big one. And so the earthquake watch, if you believe in this science, it's not really, I don't think it's really proven yet, but a lot of people are looking at it closely. We get hit probably, I think it's tonight or even tomorrow, with an increased solar wind. And that can cause, apparently, earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. So I guess the only way to really test this out is just to pay attention to if we have any earthquakes or volcanic eruptions this weekend. Now, there's earthquakes every day on Earth, but the big ones seem to be correlated with solar wind activity. So I picked out 3 places that I'm going to keep an eye on this weekend. The first one is Japan, because maybe the prediction just got the date wrong. Second place I'm going to be looking at is a place in Italy called Campi Flegrei. There's been increased seismic activity. Oh, by the way, Campi Flegrei is a super volcano. So if that thing pops, say goodbye to the boot. Italy will get the boot, if you know what I'm saying, if that thing goes off. And it has been increasing in seismic activity over the last 3 years now. And it's only getting more intense. So this solar wind thing could be a trigger. You never know. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that. That's like Yellowstone level. And at third place, I'm going to be keeping an eye on, also due to increased seismic activity. And shallow at that. Shallow seismic activity. When it's shallow, especially near a volcano, that's not good. The third place is called Mount Rainier. I think it's called Rainier or Rainer. It's in the U.S., on the West Coast. We could see some activity there. And also, I guess, honorable mention, off the West Coast, there's a huge fault line, which has also increased in seismic activity. People are talking about the underground volcano off the West Coast. I don't think we need to worry about that, but there is potential for that fault line to generate massive earthquakes, which would not be good for the West Coast because of, tsunamis. So I'll be looking at that. And we'll just have to, make our own observations and see if there's a correlation between solar wind, earthquakes, and volcanoes. We'll see what happens. I'm crossing my fingers that nothing major happens, but, we're at the mercy of the sun's mood, I guess you could say. And who knows, if something does happen, maybe they'll have more evidence to solidify this theory that the solar weather and space weather in general has much more of an impact on what goes on down here than we know or think. So fingers crossed that nothing bad happens. But I'll be looking for it. And if anything happens, whatever, tonight or tomorrow, I'll tell you about it on the show, which is about 1994. We're going back to 1994. Lots of good tunes from 94. And that's going to be a fun show. We'll get into some movies. Maybe find some comedy. The usual stuff we do in our time machine. But since, I've been chilling, vibing out to these last few tunes, and there's one here, actually, that I want to play next. Just cue it up here, and, I'm going to probably finish out the show with mostly music. Got about just over half an hour left, and, as usual, didn't even get through half of my playlist. But see if I can filter out the best ones. Or my favorite ones, at least. Keep this vibe going, this chill vibe. Thanks, everybody, for being in the greenhouse at groundzeroplus.com. Always good to see the pollywogs. I don't know how I feel about calling you all pollywogs. Anyways, here's Longevity by Eddie C. on the Polynation broadcast, groundzeroplus.com.
Center of the center of the world. The inner chamber of the pyramid of Cheops in Giza, Egypt. I follow the track of the Skada. The Skada, the ancient Egyptian symbol of longevity. Longevity. Longevity.
I don't care about the weather. I don't care about the news. I don't care about the drama. I don't care about the rules. All I care about is you. All I care about. All I care about is you. All I care about. All I care about is you. All I care about is you. I don't care about the politics. I don't care about the fights. I don't care about the rumor. I don't care about the lights. All I care about is you. All I care about. All I care about is you. All I care about is you. It's you. It's you. All I care about is you. I don't care about the fashion. I don't care about the fame. I don't care about the envy. I don't care about the blame. All I care about is you. All I care about. All I care about is you. All I care about. All I care about is you. All I care about. All I care about is you. All I care about. All I care about is you. All I care about. All I care about is you. All I care about is you. so lucky. here now to have you all alone. I really love the way you love me now. Forever I'll be yours. You light my fire. I feel alive. You blow my mind. And I am satisfied. Ooh, baby, girl, you knock me out. Oh yeah, excited. Making me wanna shout. I'm standing so excited. Girl, you knock me out. I really love, darling. Excited. Ooh, yeah, I wanna shout. Ooh, wee, baby. You blow my mind, baby. I'm so alive with you, baby. You blow my mind, baby. I'm satisfied. I'm standing. Girl, you knock me out. Excited. Get out that door. Make me wanna shout. I'm standing. I'm standing. You blow my mind, baby. I'm so alive with you, baby. You blow my mind, blow my mind. I'm standing. Girl, you knock me out. Girl, you knock me out. Excited. You don't need make me wanna shout. I'm standing. So excited. Make me wanna shout. Girl, you knock me out. Excited. Yeah. Make me wanna shout. I'm
I said that even on the birds.